Thomas "Slab" Murphy, born on August 26, 1949, is a name that resonates deeply in the annals of modern Irish history. Known as one of the most enigmatic and controversial figures of the Troubles, Murphy is believed to have been a key figure in the Provisional Irish Republican Army. His farm, straddling the border between County Armagh in Northern Ireland and County Louth in the Republic of Ireland, became the epicenter of his alleged operations. Accused of everything from orchestrating deadly attacks to leading a multi-million-pound smuggling empire, Murphy's life story is a complicated web of secrecy, rebellion, and crime. Today, we delve deep into the rise and fall of Thomas "Slab" Murphy, from his days as a feared Republican leader to his conviction for tax evasion. Thomas Murphy grew up in a turbulent time in Irish history, where politics and conflict were intertwined in daily life. Born into a family of staunch Republicans, Murphy and his two brothers were raised in an environment deeply connected to the Irish nationalist cause. The family farm, split between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, provided a unique geographical advantage. It was not just a home, but a strategic location that would later become pivotal in Murphy's alleged activities with the IRA. By the 1970s, Murphy was already deeply involved with the IRA South Armagh Brigade, a unit known for its military expertise and deadly efficiency. His rise to prominence within the organization was swift. His tactical mind and commitment to the Republican cause soon caught the attention of the IRA Army Council, which later elected him as the Chief of Staff. Murphy's influence grew as he took on a more central role in planning some of the most notorious attacks during the Troubles. One of the most infamous incidents linked to Murphy was the 1979 Warrenpoint ambush, where 18 British soldiers were killed in a meticulously planned attack. On that same day, the Mullaghmore bombing claimed the life of Louis Mountbatten, 1st Earl Mountbatten of Burma, along with 3 others, including 2 children. Both attacks sent shockwaves through Britain and Ireland and cemented Murphy's reputation as a formidable figure in the IRA's militant wing. Throughout the 1980s, Murphy allegedly played a key role in the IRA international operations. Reports suggest that he was deeply involved in smuggling arms into Ireland, orchestrating the importation of massive stockpiles of weapons from Libya. Adrian Hopkins, a skipper who ferried these weapons to the IRA, later testified that Murphy had personally met a Libyan agent in Greece and facilitated the unloading of arms upon arrival in Ireland. This operation was one of the most significant arms smuggling efforts in the IRA history and underscored Murphy's importance within the organization. Murphy's alleged IRA activities caught the attention of both the media and law enforcement. In 1987, he made headlines again, but this time in a courtroom. The Sunday Times accused him of directing an IRA bombing campaign in Britain. Infuriated by these claims, Murphy sued the paper for libel in Dublin, leading to one of the most sensational trials of the time. The trial was a high-stakes gamble for Murphy. If he won, it would clear his name and undermine the narrative of his deep involvement in IRA operations. However, the outcome did not favor him. The original verdict was overturned due to omissions by the judge, but a retrial also ended in failure for Murphy. During the retrial, several former IRA members, including Sean O'Callaghan and Eamon Collins, along with members of the Guards, Irish Customs, and British Army, testified against him. Collins, who later wrote a book detailing his experiences, was brutally murdered near his home, a crime that many believe was a direct consequence of his testimony against Murphy. Despite Murphy's denials, the jury ruled that he was indeed an IRA commander and a smuggler, a verdict that forever tainted his public image. The Sunday Times doubled down on its assertions, publishing statements from Adrian Hopkins, who detailed Murphy's involvement in the arms smuggling operations from Libya. The trial exposed a dark and complicated side of Murphy's life, painting him as a central figure in both the IRA's militant and criminal activities. While Murphy's alleged involvement in the IRA's military operations was under scrutiny, his name was also increasingly associated with a vast smuggling empire. His farm on the border of Northern Ireland and the Republic became a hotspot for clandestine activities. In 2005, authorities in both the UK and Ireland launched coordinated raids against businesses linked to Murphy as part of an investigation by the British Assets Recovery Agency and the Irish Criminal Assets Bureau. Murphy was accused of running a smuggling operation that encompassed everything from fuel and cigarettes to grain and pigs. The BBC's Underworld Rich List estimated his fortune was up to £40 million, earned through a combination of illegal activities and silent or partial ownership in legitimate businesses. During the raids, officers discovered a purpose-built underground chamber near his home, believed to have been used by the IRA for interrogations, further fueling the image of Murphy as a man deeply embedded in both criminal and militant networks. In a rare public statement following the raids, Murphy denied any involvement in smuggling and asserted his commitment to the peace process. He claimed that he was merely a farmer and that he had been forced to sell property to cover legal fees after his failed libel case. However, these denials did little to quell public suspicion. The scale of the raids, which included the seizure of tankers, shotguns, cigarettes, and nearly €1 million in cash, suggested that Murphy was far more than a simple farmer. The major turning point came on March 9, 2006, when a massive operation involving police, soldiers, and customs officials from both sides of the border led to a series of dawn raids on Murphy's properties. The sheer scale of the operation underscored the seriousness with which authorities viewed Murphy's alleged activities. During the raid, they uncovered 4 diesel laundering facilities, networks of underground storage tanks, and seized a fleet of tankers, computers, and documents. The raids also had a significant political fallout. Sinn Féin President Gerry Adams, under pressure from both political and media circles, publicly defended Murphy, stating, "Tom Murphy is not a criminal. He's a good Republican and a key supporter of Sinn Féin's peace strategy." This stance drew sharp criticism, particularly from Northern Ireland's First Minister Arlene Foster, who labelled Murphy a criminal and pointed out that the people of South Armagh viewed him as such. Despite this, Murphy continued to enjoy support from segments of the Republican community. However, the mounting evidence against him could not be ignored. As investigations continued, it became clear that Murphy's empire was built not only on ideological grounds, but also on a vast and lucrative network of illicit operations. Murphy's criminal career took a dramatic turn when he was convicted not for terrorism or smuggling, but for tax evasion. Following a lengthy investigation by the Criminal Assets Bureau, a Dublin court found Murphy guilty on 9 charges of tax evasion in December 2015. The trial, which lasted 9 weeks, took place under anti-terrorist legislation, due to fears that witnesses and jurors might be intimidated. Murphy was found guilty of failing to file tax returns on income derived from his cattle farming between 1996 and 2004. His defense claimed that he was a legitimate farmer, but the evidence presented showed otherwise. Documents, diaries, and ledgers found during the raids painted a different picture, one of a man deeply involved in undeclared financial dealings. In February 2016, Murphy was sentenced to 18 months in prison without any suspension of his term. He was immediately transferred to Portlaoise Prison, Ireland's highest security prison reserved for terrorists and serious gangland criminals. The severity of his imprisonment, under a heavily armed Guards and Irish Army escort, was a clear indication of the danger Murphy was still perceived to represent. Despite appealing his conviction in November 2016, Murphy's efforts were unsuccessful. The Court of Appeal dismissed his case on all grounds, affirming that his activities had indeed breached the law. By January 2017, Murphy was moved to a low-security prison, Lachen House, where he awaited his release in April 2018. Murphy's release in 2018 marked the end of a significant chapter, but his legacy remains controversial. For many, he embodies the complexities of the Troubles, a man who stood as a symbol of resistance for some, but as a ruthless criminal for others. His life story, marked by allegations of terrorism, smuggling, and violent crime, raises questions about the blurred lines between political activism and organized crime in times of conflict. Reports suggest that Murphy had become disillusioned with the peace process in Northern Ireland, falling out with Sinn Féin and distancing himself from mainstream Republican politics. Some speculated that he might align with dissident groups opposed to the Good Friday Agreement, although no concrete evidence has emerged to confirm this. Murphy's life remains a stark reminder of the turbulent history of Northern Ireland and the Republic, where political ideology, crime, and conflict have often intertwined. His conviction for tax evasion, while seemingly a mundane end for such a notorious figure, underscores the challenges authorities face in bringing powerful and secretive figures to justice. Thomas "Slab" Murphy remains one of the most enigmatic and divisive figures in recent Irish history. To his supporters, he is a committed Republican who dedicated his life to the cause of Irish freedom. To his detractors, he is a criminal mastermind who exploited the conflict to build a personal empire of illicit wealth. His story, from alleged IRA commander to convicted tax evader, is a complex tapestry of politics, power, and criminal enterprise. As Ireland continues to grapple with its past, the legend of Slab Murphy serves as both a cautionary tale and a reflection on the blurred boundaries between war, politics, and crime. If you found this story intriguing, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the figures who have shaped modern history.